me the second I say hi to you.
I am your Cuban coffee this morning. yeah, hello. I had you at hola. All right. You know, oftentimes I say we know where people are, we don't know how they really got there. You had very humble beginnings in Cuba.
Yes, I did. I was born and raised in Cuba, in a communist country. And at 14, I put myself on a boat, on a raft to come here, and then I got caught. Took me back to Cuba, and then the United States gave me political asylum to come here.
When you say
back
at
in
14,
1995.
you got on there and you took off. What was that like? That had to be scary. You had no idea where you were going, but you knew you couldn't stay.
We only knew we were going north, and to be able to know that we were going north, we knew that the sun comes from the east, goes from the west, and the moon the same way. So we were just looking at that the whole time. We took we were there for like 40 hours, and then unfortunately we weren't sent back by the Cuban government. But later, the United States gave me that chance to come here and achieve my dreams.
I went to Cuba several years ago, and the richness of the culture and the people was so amazing. But what was day-to-day life like for you growing up?
Well, it's nice. It's good you say that, because it's nice when you go. When you go, you have a great time. You get to know different things. It's like feeling, you feel like you go back in time 60 years and you experience something nice. But when you're living there, it's very hard. You are getting a bread a day per person. You are very limited to eat, to do, to talk. So it's a hard thing when you when you limit a human being to do certain things in life, and I think that should never happen.
When you arrived in America, and your name is William Levy, people are thinking a nice Jewish boy is showing up, right? Yeah. And then you have this accent and the whole bit, and you say, no, I'm from Cuba. Explain that to folks.
Well, my family is Jewish, so my background is Jewish too, so we say it's a Juban.
A Juban. But people sometimes forget that, in the Caribbean and in South and Central America, there's just, everybody's there.
Yeah, my grandfather came to Cuba years. He was 1 year old from Turkey when they were running away from everything that was going on with the Jewish people, and he got there, and then he met a Cuban woman who drove him crazy, and he went out of the whole marrying a Jewish woman, and he just went out there. And then that's why I thank God he did it, and he followed love, and I'm here because of that, and I really love being part of the whole community too.
When you first arrived in America, what were your first impressions? And what had you been told about America before?
I have to tell you, when I came here, and the plane was night time, and when the plane was arriving, and I started seeing so many lights together, I remember seeing what I found out later that it was the freeway. But I remember seeing so many cars together, I thought it was a train. I never saw in my life so many cars in one street, and like that, it was incredible. I went to the supermarket, and I was getting everything but one, because that's how it happens in Cuba. I was getting one apple, one this, one that, and I got to a place. My uncle's like, what you doing, man? And I said, I'm getting, one per person. He's like, no, wait, this is USA, man. You can go and get whatever you want. Yeah. And like that, it was crazy. One of the stories that I had, it was crazy for me. It was like I went to, I don't want to say the name, but no, they haven't paid for publicity, so we're not mentioning any names here. But I went to a place to eat pancakes, and I saw a guy next to me. That was the very next day. I saw a guy next to me eating the pancakes with the butter on top of it, and I thought it was ice cream. I never saw butter like that in my life. So I was like, damn, the ice cream from U.S. doesn't melt. This is crazy.
It's amazing ice cream in America.
Wow, this is the one I take for when they go up there to the moon.
A lot of things that we take for granted, and just things that you'd never seen before. You say that actually being able to go to a grocery store and see the shelves filled with things.
It was an amazing experience. I was lost in space. I was really I couldn't believe everything. Yeah. It was amazing.
You're one of those people who had various options. You knew about the opportunities in America, what you wanted to do. You had a baseball scholarship, but at what point did you modeled? Surprise there, not. But at what point did you decide that acting was something you wanted to do?
It's funny because I was playing baseball, and while I was playing baseball, and I was at the outfield catching balls, fly balls, I was thinking about acting. And second year, I didn't know English that well. I'm still trying to get better at it, as you can see. But I couldn't. I had to drop out of high school. I drop out of the university because my mom separated from my stepfather at the time, and she was only by herself, me and my brother and my little sister. So I had to work and help her out. So I had to get out of university and started working in construction. And I met a woman who said, you could be a model. And at the time, I wasn't into it. I was only into acting. But then she said, it can be a door for you to, learn and get and meet the right people. And then I just, from there I started. I started from there.
You're J-Lo's love interest in the music video, I'm Into You.
Yeah, in the music video.
Yeah, the 2011 Sexiest Man Alive, People in Espanol.
Yeah.
When you name that, do you it's funny because everybody always says, I wasn't even thinking I would be the person. Were you surprised when they called and said, you're it?
Yeah, of course. I get surprised every time they name me in any of these kind of lists because you never think about that when you are born and raised in a country like the one I was growing up.
I was thinking about it continually when that issue came out.
You just don't think about it,
You did Dancing with the Stars, which is another thing of stepping kind of out of your box, and you placed third. What was that experience like?
It was crazy. Dancing 7 hours a day. It was just crazy. I mean, just to learn that little routine that you see there for like 2 minutes, it's just 7 days a week, working really hard. And I mean, I take my hat off for all these dancers and people that go through that. It's not easy. It's hard.
Yeah.
But it's good. At the end of the day, you're dancing, you're having a great time.
Other credits you have Tyler Perry's The Single Moms Club, Addicted, Resident Evil, The Final Chapter, and Star on Fox. Tell us about your latest situation.
Okay, right now we just opened my production company with my partner Jeff Goldberg, and we are interested in supporting the Latin market too. We made a movie in Spanish. It has English subtitles, of course, but it's a great movie. It's based on a book called Killing Sarai by one of the New York Times best-selling author. She's Jaya Rumersky, very talented writer, and we saw this book and we thought it was a very, unique and different kind of book. It has suspense. It's
intense.
Yeah, it has suspense. It has action, but it has an intense romance.
Yeah.
So I think you are going to enjoy it very much.
What is? Yeah, because it's like that romance thing.
Keep on coffee, right?
What do you want people to get from this movie?
It's just it's fun. I want people to really enjoy it, but also at the same time really get to know what's going on. Sometimes these things are really going on and really happening. But more than anything, I just want people to have a good time.
Yeah.
Go to a movie theaters and enjoy a great movie.
And you have the great advantage of being able to do Spanish television or Spanish movies and also in English.
Yeah, thank God, because I love doing everything in both languages.
All right, you stick around because I'm going to pour you a cup of Cuban coffee, okay?
Yeah. Okay. How? How are you gonna give me that Cuban coffee?
And Brazos de Asesino opens in theaters December 6th. We have more information on our site, greatdayhouston.com. You just sit tight. I'll help you figure that out.